And while staying with the Israel-Hamas war, Washington seems to be losing patience with Israel. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken shared some tough words with top Israeli officials on Tuesday as he made his fifth crisis visit to the nation since the war broke out with the militant group Hamas in October. Now, amidst the mounting pressure on the Biden administration to prevent the rising death toll in Gaza and the war from spilling over, the top U.S. diplomat urged ally Israel to make quote-unquote hard decisions and made a clear call to the Israeli government to reduce civilian harm as well.
We know that facing an enemy that embeds itself among civilians, who hides in and fires from schools, from hospitals, makes this incredibly challenging. But the daily toll on civilians in Gaza, particularly on children, is far too high. In today's meetings, I was also crystal clear. Palestinian civilians must be able to return home as soon as conditions allow. They must not be pressed to leave Gaza.
These remarks were made during a press conference in Tel Aviv, with Netanyahu did not attend, while the Israeli Prime Minister's office also did not release a readout after the long meeting with the top U.S. official, as it generally does. The move signals that the talks were not easy this time, though Blinken reaffirmed America's unwavering support for Israel and rejected speculations of an immediate ceasefire. He made some of his strongest direct remarks by asking Israel to not take steps to hinder Palestinians' ability to govern themselves.
And Israel must stop taking steps that undercut Palestinians' ability to govern themselves effectively. Extremist settler violence carried out with impunity, settlement expansion, demolitions, evictions, all make it harder, not easier, for Israel to achieve lasting peace and security.
Israel has so far ruled out calls to allow the internationally recognized Palestinian Authority to govern both Gaza and the West Bank. Blinken, who visited Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar prior to his stop in Israel, said that Arab leaders are ready to live with and integrate Israel in the region in a way that everyone feels secure. These words signal that Arab-Israeli normalization talks might not be off the table completely. However, Blinken added that only through a regional approach that includes a pathway to a Palestinian state, this goal could be achieved. At the same time, the Israeli ambassador to the UN, Gilad Erdan, has marked the first birthday of the Kfir Bibas, the youngest hostage held in Hamas by Hamas in Gaza. He pulled out a cake for the child during his speech at the United Nations. Erdan said, and I quote here, "I will remind you of your moral obligation to fight for Kfir and his right to celebrate his birthday." Bibas was taken hostage along with his parents and his 4-year-old brother in the October 7th attack. While back at home, many protesters took to the streets calling for ceasefire in Gaza to allow the release of hostages in Tel Aviv. Out of the 250 hostages that Hamas took, Israel says 132 of them remain captive, including at least 25 believed to have been killed in the aftermath of the Gaza war.
35 years old. Rob Veslavsky.